Have you ever felt an unusual sign or coincidence that made you wonder if God is trying to communicate with you? That sudden feeling deep inside, that still, small voice whispering something you can't quite grasp, but it feels important. Maybe it's a dream that felt incredibly vivid, a song that seemed to speak directly to your heart, or a chance encounter that left you with a sense of peace and purpose. You see, many of us go through life searching for answers, looking for guidance, longing for a deeper connection with something bigger than ourselves. And sometimes in those quiet moments of reflection, we begin to recognize the subtle ways God speaks to us, guiding us, encouraging us, and revealing His plan for our lives. Today we're going to talk about 10 signs that God might be trying to get your attention, to remind you that you're loved, you're guided, and you're never alone on this journey. Let's face it, we've all experienced those moments when something happens that seems too coincidental to be just chance. You're thinking about a loved one, and suddenly, they call. Or you're praying for guidance on a difficult decision, and a book falls open to the exact passage you needed to read. It's easy to dismiss these occurrences as mere coincidence, to chalk them up to random chance. But deep down, a part of us wonders, could this be a sign? Could this be God's way of nudging us in the right direction, of letting us know He's listening? Don't be so quick to dismiss those seemingly small coincidences. Pay attention to those moments that make you feel a sense of wonder, those times when the impossible seems to align perfectly. Because within those moments, you might just find a message from the divine, a reminder that you're not alone, that you're divinely guided and protected. Remember, God speaks to each of us in a language we understand, a language that resonates with our hearts. The Bible is filled with stories of God speaking to His people through dreams and visions. Jacob saw a ladder to heaven, Joseph interpreted dreams, and even today, people from all walks of life report experiencing profound messages through the language of dreams. Now I want you to think back on your own life. Have you ever woken up from a dream feeling deeply moved, like it held a hidden meaning? Maybe it was a dream of a deceased loved one, offering comfort and reassurance. Or perhaps it was a symbolic dream filled with imagery that seemed to point you towards a specific path or decision. When you have a dream that feels particularly significant, take some time to reflect on it. Write down the details, explore the symbolism, and most importantly, pray about it. Ask God to reveal any hidden messages or guidance He might be trying to convey. He knows our hearts, our fears, and our deepest desires. And through dreams, He can gently guide us, encourage us, and reveal His plan for our lives. In the hustle and bustle of life, it can be difficult to hear that still small voice within, the voice of God guiding us. God's peace isn't the absence of storms, it's the calm in the midst of them. Even when we feel lost, God is with us, holding us steady. Have you ever felt a peace that surpasses all understanding? That's God's peace. It's a gift He offers freely to all who seek Him. It's a sign that you're on the right path, aligned with His will. Following God's path won't always be easy, there will be challenges and moments of doubt, but God's peace will be there, a constant source of strength. It starts with quieting our minds, creating space for God to speak. Now sometimes God speaks to us in whispers, in those subtle signs and synchronicities we talked about earlier. But other times, when He really wants to get our attention, He'll send us repeated messages, like a loving parent trying to guide their child in the right direction. Have you ever noticed a particular theme or message popping up repeatedly in your life? Maybe it's a Bible verse you keep hearing, a song that seems to follow you everywhere, or a word or phrase that keeps coming to mind. These repeated messages are not coincidences, my friends. They're God's way of getting our attention, of guiding us towards a particular path or decision. So pay attention to those recurring themes in your life. Don't ignore them. Write them down, pray about them, and ask God to reveal their meaning. You know, we've all been there, facing a decision, big or small, and feeling that tug in our gut, that inner voice whispering a clear yes or a resounding no. That, my friends, is your intuition, your gut feeling, and it's a powerful tool that God uses to communicate with us. Now, the world might tell you to ignore your gut, to rely on logic and reason alone. But I truly believe that God speaks to us through our intuition, through those deep-seated feelings that often defy explanation. It's like having a compass within, guiding us towards what's right, what's true, and what aligns with our God-given purpose. Think about a time when you ignored your gut feeling, and it led to a less than ideal outcome. The more we learn to trust our gut, the more we align ourselves with God's guidance. It becomes a beautiful dance, our human experience intertwined with divine intuition. Have you ever taken a walk in nature and felt a sense of peace wash over you, a feeling of being connected to something larger than yourself? God speaks to us through His creation, the beauty of nature, and the animals that inhabit it. The Bible tells us that the heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of His hands. Psalm 19:1. Every sunrise, every wave crashing on the shore, every bird singing, these are all expressions of God's love and presence. Think about your favorite place in nature. Is it the beach, the forest, the mountains? What fills you with peace and wonder? Often, we forget to appreciate the simple beauty around us. Within the colors of a sunset or the design of a flower, God is speaking. So, the next time you feel lost, take a step outside. We've all heard the saying, God's timing is perfect, but let's be honest, sometimes it can be hard to see that when we're in the midst of waiting for something we desperately want. We might question why certain doors are closed, why our prayers seem to go unanswered, why things aren't happening according to our timeline. But here's the thing about divine timing. It's not about rushing the process, it's about trusting in God's plan, even when we don't fully understand it. You see, God sees the bigger picture. He knows what we need when we need it, and how each experience, both the highs and the lows, will ultimately shape us into the people He created us to be. Think of it like baking a cake. If you were to take the cake out of the oven before it was fully cooked, it would be a disaster, right? It needs time to bake, to rise, to become the delicious treat it's meant to be. The same is true for us. For centuries, people of faith have turned to scripture and religious texts for guidance, comfort, and inspiration. These sacred words have the power to speak to us across time and cultures, offering wisdom, hope, and a deeper understanding of God's love for us. Think about it. These words were written thousands of years ago, yet they still resonate with us today. They address the same human emotions, struggles, and triumphs that we experience in our modern lives. The Bible in particular is filled with stories of God's faithfulness, His mercy, and His unwavering love for His people. It's a source of encouragement, guidance, and hope, no matter what challenges we may face. Now, I know that reading scripture can feel overwhelming, especially if you're new to it. But here's a tip: start small. Choose a book or a passage that speaks to you, and take some time each day to read and reflect on it. We are created for connection, for community, for relationships that uplift and inspire us. And sometimes God chooses to speak to us through the people He places in our lives, our family, friends, mentors, even strangers we meet along the way. Think about it. Have you ever had a conversation with someone who seemed to know exactly what you needed to hear at that moment, or received advice that was so timely, so spot on, that it felt divinely orchestrated? God often uses other people as His messengers, as vessels to deliver words of encouragement, guidance, or even a gentle nudge in the right direction. These individuals might not even realize they're being used by God, but their words and actions can have a profound impact on our lives. So, pay attention to the people God has placed in your circle of influence. Listen to their words, observe their actions, and be open to the possibility that God might be using them to speak to you. We often think of communication as something that happens through words or actions, but God can also speak to us through physical sensations, those subtle feelings in our bodies that convey a deeper message. Have you ever felt a warmth spread through your chest during prayer, a sense of peace that calmed your anxieties? Or perhaps a wave of goosebumps during worship, as if you were being physically touched by the divine? These physical sensations are not to be dismissed. They're often our body's way of responding to a spiritual reality, a way of connecting us to something larger than ourselves. Think about it. Our emotions manifest physically in our bodies. When we're stressed, we might get headaches or stomach aches. When we're happy, we might feel light and energized. So, it makes sense that our spiritual experiences would also manifest physically. As we've explored these 10 signs, I hope you've been reminded that God is constantly speaking to us, guiding us, and pouring His love into our lives. It's up to us to tune in, to listen with open hearts, and to trust that He's always with us, every step of the way. I encourage you to share your own experiences in the comments below. Have you experienced any of these signs? How has God spoken to you in a way that's personal and meaningful to you?